So I just got home. I have accidentally bought two of these. What does that even mean? The point is that I don't think I'm going to return this one or try and sell it. I think I'm instead gonna do something kind of fun.
Welcome to Corner Case, the channel for wargamers by wargamers, and you're in the hobby corner with me, your host, and your gunplay aficionado, and your best friend, Deck. So I've somehow come to acquire two of these. How did that happen? Well, 3 weeks ago or so, I got a message from my LGS saying, hey man, we have like your model and it's been like a month. AKA I forgot that I pre-ordered it when it was announced from my FLGS with the intent of supporting them. And when it dropped, I just like bought it online because I forgot. So here we are. Actually, the one that I'll throw it up on screen. The one I bought was already like 85%. I'm almost done painting it. Like I just got to paint the hammer, the gun, and then like, clean up the chest jewels or whatever. And like, we're good. So like I forgot that hard that I bought this thing. Now, friends of the channel and those following along with my community posts will see that I have been on an absolute tear customizing my steel phalanx. At some point in the last 2 months, I realized, like, why don't all the Myrmidon models have swords? Like, this makes no sense. So I built my own swords. From the first party designs, I took measurements off of the Spitfire Myrmidon from Blackwind, and I built my own, printed, etc. And then I thought, well, honestly, these shields look pretty cool too. So then I started printing shields for everyone. Now I have like chrome shields on everybody. Now you can see how very easily I thought, well, you know what? My intent was, I bought this second model by accident. My intent was to support my friendly local game store. So obviously I'm not going to return it. So obviously the idea is customize it. So how to do that? Well, I was already thinking that the hammer looks kind of small. So the hammer looks pretty small. It's like not even as big as Ajax's hammer. So, I mean, obviously Ajax is better in CC, but it just like doesn't look as cool. So I was thinking, okay, well, first of all, definitely this hammer needs to go. Then I thought, like, well, I've been adding shields to everything, so this thing needs a shield. Like, it needs to. If it's in steel phalanx now, it needs a shield. And then I thought, well, I am kind of one of the biggest Gundam fans that I know, so I was thinking maybe there's, like, a way to tie it back in. And with those, like, juicy Agamemnon thighs, I couldn't help but think of Tallgeese from Gundam Wing. So I was like, all right, we're going to do something Gundam Wing with the Agamemnon model, but I don't know what yet because there's so many cool things in Gundam Wing that we could do. We could do the angel wings like Gundam Wing Zero. We could do Sandrock custom. We could do heavy arms. We could do Death Scythe. I pretty much considered all of them except for like the Shenlong Gundam, because like that one is like pretty obviously the Yujing one, So I know I want a shield. I know I want a new weapon that's maybe not the hammer. Let's get to sketching.
All right, we are in the design corner with the iPad mini ready to design some scythes.
So like in the sketching process, I'm trying to figure out like how to design this scythe. And at first I'm like, okay, I'm tossing in this Ajax hammer for reference. It kind of has like, these rhythmic segments. They're fanning. It's this like kind of lightning bolt looking thing. And then I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like a lightning bolt. And that's when I realized, like I can kind of do that because that is kind of like really Homer, like Greek mythology gets smote, baby. So then once I latch on to the concept of the lightning bolt, like that's when we know that's it right there. In terms of the shield, I was torn between like, are we going to go like the new route? Like, are we going to go Eudoros? Are we going to do like Hector / the Thorakites? But really at the end of the day, I thought maybe this is more of like a hoplite situation, so I took the hoplite design, a little bit and I like made it bigger. So let's do the hoplite design. I think this will work. On to modeling. How are we going to model this thing? So I recently did Blender. I learned Blender. I did the old donut tutorial. And what I realized in doing the donut tutorial is I'm not going to use Blender. I'm absolutely not going to. The way I had built my swords and shields was I used Creo/Pro Engineer. It's a parametric modeling tool. It's what I use in my day-to-day life as an industrial designer. You know, what does parametric modeling mean? It means like it's really dimension driven. It's highly non-destructive. And when you're building these more sci-fi, hard edge, like producty kind of models, I think it's way better than Blender for some of that stuff. But you have to go in with a design, which is why we already finished our design.
All right, you can kind of see right here this pretty sweet gap we made right here. So it kind of looks like the lightning bolt is floating. We have these like blades fanning out back there. You can see the lightning bolt is like off center, so there's kind of like some concept of balance with the weapon. And I used the Marut sword as like a reference for the length that I wanted. So this is like kind of, the blade is as long as the Marut sword, which is like around 30 millimeters, so a little over an inch long in real life. All right, this is my support setup. Here's to hoping that one of these each prints properly. Let's go. All right, it's like circa almost 10 o'clock. I spent pretty much like the entire afternoon until right now building the shield and scythe in CAD, and we're ready to hit print. Hey Shumai, you're the only one who stays up late. It's really early in the morning, and this first one didn't turn out perfect, as you can see. I'll do a cut to it, but I pulled it out and cleaned it. The shield turned out just fine. I'll show that on screen. But this, I'm gonna have to like redo the support system and print it again. Not the biggest deal, but you know, when you're working on these, it's just like, you like really want to see it.
All right, so you can kind of see that I lost the gap like entirely. There's like some scarring from the support sticking, and then when I flip it around to the other side, I lost one of the like blade things, and like more scarring, and also the I had like those little bolt kind of stand-ins at the connection point. Those are gone too. So I didn't really film this part of the process, but since the shield worked out pretty much right away, I just went ahead and glued that. And even with the not super well printed first scythe, I was still able to verify the scale. So it looks like the scale is fine. Actually, it's pretty much perfect. So nailed it. So now that I know the scale is good, I can kind of move on to just trying to print this thing properly. All right, we're trying this again. This time we are printing it the other way. I don't feel as good about it because I want the blade to be as sharp as possible, but who knows, maybe this will work a little better. All right, it's day 2 and one of the prints actually worked. So it is time to move on to final assembly. Yeah, so I don't have like good footage of like the in-between because I got kind of excited to paint it. So a normal hobby channel, you know, a better hobby channel than mine here, would have, you know, filmed gluing and the initial painting steps and even painting. But I got kind of excited to paint. It's late. So you guys aren't gonna get like time lapse of me painting, but like this is where we're going, okay? And this is like kind of the final result here, you know, is the assembly, and you can see it here next to the original Agamemnon for scale, and I think it looks way better. Even that like extended arm, in like martial arts that would be considered like the cover position, right? When you're mid strike, you're using your your weak side to block. And so Agamemnon is in a cover position, but there's nothing blocking, which feels weird. So I actually think the shield looks like natural. So I kind of want to have a clean Agamemnon, like not modified, but I also kind of want to just glue the other shield onto my base Agamemnon. I don't know. And there you have it, my finished Hades custom Agamemnon with the Zeus scythe and the shield. Oh my goodness. And then finally, like, how are we going to do the paint scheme? I think this one should be special. So I think if you've been following the community posts, the way we've been painting Aleph on the channel here is for special units, we've actually been going black and gold instead of white and purple. It's like a little bit of a meme. Like, y'all remember when it was like white and blue or black and gold meme? I might be aging myself. This was like 10 years ago, internet time. But my special units are in gold. So I'm not going to do the whole thing gold. And at the same time, like I deliberately have been painting Patroclus special, knowing damn well that he's written out of the game. So I think, this is going to be black, purple, red, gold, Sith, my steel phalanx, Sith Lord, a Hades custom with the Zeus bolt, just all the flavors going on. Let's paint it. I'm so happy to have this project in the books. I wish that I could use this scythe and shield in other models, but right now it just gets used here. If you guys are interested in this project, I'll put the files up for free on the video for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll just make it Patreon only afterwards, just to make that a little bit more special, But it's like a really small group of people that ultimately care about this, is like the cross section of people who play Aleph, and then within those, the people who actually bought Agamemnon, and then within those, the people who aren't scared of cutting the hammer off. And then within those, the people who actually have a 3D printer and are willing to do that. So, let me know if you guys want more content like this. If there are models that you want customizations for, that is something I am willing and excited to do on the channel. So let me know. But building these custom weapons is really fun for me. So let's figure it out. Glad I could give this model a second life and not just return it and do something creative. And, it did feel kind of bad on my budget, but now that I've done this whole project, it feels really good. Probably the coolest thing I've done in months. Please like and subscribe, do all the YouTube things, join us on Discord. Please consider joining the Patreon. Thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon, subscribers, people who comment. Let's keep the ball rolling. All boats rise when Warhammer 10th edition comes out, because there'll be an influx of new players that will eventually leave to our games. So let's keep the channel going. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time.